1 year after that rainy night, I still hate the sound of breaking dishes. Some things feel like they're long gone, but all it takes is one small sound to pull the past rushing back. That night, Kong and I had an argument. It wasn't anything dramatic. He simply forgot to pick me up after my late shift. His phone had died, and I stood there, in the rain, for almost 20 minutes. When he finally arrived, soaked, breathless, apologizing over and over, I didn't cry. I went quiet, and somehow, that silence frightened him more than anger ever could. "What are you thinking?" he asked. I didn't answer, because in my head, it wasn't about 20 minutes in the rain. It was the old fear rising again, the familiar one, the fear of being left behind, the fear of not being important enough. I hated that feeling, hated that after a whole year, I could still feel so fragile. That night, I told him, I thought I had changed. He looked at me for a long time. "Changing doesn't mean you don't get hurt anymore," he said softly. "It means this time, you don't run away." And suddenly, I understood. A year ago, the version of me back then would have turned cold. I would have said something sharp, something cruel, just to hurt him first, before he had the chance to hurt me. But this time, I stayed. I told him the truth. "I'm not upset because you were late. I'm just scared that I don't matter." He stepped closer and wrapped his arms around me. "You've always mattered," he whispered, "not because you're perfect, but because you're you." We still argue sometimes. We still have exhausting days. There are moments when I say things I don't mean. But there's one difference now. No one walks away in silence anymore. A year later, I realized something. Love isn't the absence of pain. Love is when pain shows up, and instead of turning our backs, we sit down and face it together. I'm still Lamb Ann. I still have a past. Still have nights when sleep won't come. But I no longer lie awake wondering if I deserve to be loved. Because he didn't stay to save me. He stayed to grow with me. About a year after Kong and I chose to start over, I saw Min again. There was no dramatic coincidence. No rain, no tension. Just an ordinary afternoon. I was grocery shopping when I heard a familiar voice behind me. "Lamb Ann." I turned around. There he was. Standing beside him was a petite girl with her hair neatly tied back, one hand resting on a shopping cart. He looked different. The heaviness in his eyes, the way he used to stare at doorways, was gone. He smiled, and this time, it was light. "Are you doing okay?" he asked. I nodded. "I am." He introduced the girl beside him. "This is H, my girlfriend." She smiled at me, warm, open, unguarded, and I realized something surprising. My heart didn't ache. There was only a quiet gratitude. We exchanged small talk, work, health, life, before leaving. Min looked at me for a moment. "I'm glad you chose to stay," he said. I smiled back. "Thank you for helping me understand myself." He gave a small nod. No one owed anyone anything. No one was wrong. We were simply two people who once walked through each other's lives, just long enough to learn how to let go at the right time. 3 years after that rainy night, I stand in a small kitchen, holding a warm baby bottle in my hands. In the living room, Kong is trying to fix a toy car with a loose wheel. Daddy dropped it again. A tiny voice bursts into laughter. I walk out. A 2-year-old girl sits in the middle of the floor. Slightly curly hair, bright eyes. She sees me and reaches out her arms. "Mommy." There was a time I thought I would never hear that word. I once believed my past would always be a stain that could never be erased. But now, I am the wife of a man who learned how to listen, and the mother of a little life who knows nothing about the ways I once lost myself. Kong looks at me. There's no longer guilt in his eyes. No desperate attempt to make up for something. Just the steady gaze of someone who chose to stay and meant it. "Are you tired?" he asks. I shake my head. Not because I'm not tired, but because for the first time in my life, I'm not exhausted from trying to prove that I'm worthy. That night, it rains again. I stand by the window, holding our daughter. Kong stands behind us, wrapping his arms around both of us. The rain falls just like it did 3 years ago, but there's one difference. I'm no longer the girl crying alone behind a cafe, no longer the one condemning herself for her past. I am Lamb Ann, a wife, a mother, a woman who once lost her way, but found the courage to stay. And this rainy season, it's still cold outside, but inside this small house, there's warmth, there's laughter, and I know now, I'm finally home.